Walls that Whisper. Chapter 1. The Whispering Walls. The village of Darnwell was a haven of tranquility, nestled between verdant hills and a sprawling, serene lake. Nestled in this idyllic world was Lily, a 12-year-old girl, brimming with life and a thirst for adventure. Her curious green eyes mirrored her inherent hunger for knowledge, often leading her to the outskirts of the village, the unexplored woods, and the ancient artifacts of the past. Her heart was a ceaseless beacon for the unknown, and the village, with its familiar paths and stories, was becoming too small for her budding spirit. Lily was a dreamer. Stories of mystical creatures, hidden treasures, and far-off lands kept her up at night. The quiet hamlet of Darnwell was peaceful, its inhabitants leading simple lives. The village was picturesque, a quaint portrait of tranquility, with its thatched roofs and cobblestone paths. The villagers, hard-working and kind, had a sense of unity and camaraderie that warmed Lily's heart. But it was the quiet that bothered her, the unvarying rhythm of life that left her yearning for more. One day, as Lily wandered near the ancient stone labyrinth situated on the outskirts of the village, a faint whisper reached her ears. It seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Intrigued, she followed the whispers until she stood before the towering moss-covered walls of the labyrinth. The labyrinth was an imposing structure, a relic of a time long forgotten. Its weather-beaten stones spoke of a story lost in time, and the labyrinth's uncanny stillness unnerved her. Yet the whispers enticed her, calling out to her curiosity. Lily was fascinated. The labyrinth was a giant puzzle waiting to be solved. The whispers, haunting yet captivating, wove tales of hidden treasures that stirred up Lily's sense of adventure. She spent hours near the entrance, lost in the murmurs that promised an adventure, a mystery to unravel. A spark had been ignited, and the labyrinth was the flame drawing her in. News of the whispers reached the village elders, a group of weathered men and women carrying the wisdom of their age. As they listened to Lily, their faces turned solemn, reflecting the flickering light of the council fire. They knew of the labyrinth's whispers, tales passed down from generation to generation, a piece of their village's lore. "The labyrinth is not to be disturbed, Lily," warned Elder Thomas, his face lined with age and eyes filled with caution. "It is older than all of us, older than our oldest stories. It holds a darkness we do not understand." The elders shared tales of those who had ventured into the labyrinth and never returned. It was said that the labyrinth had a mind of its own, that it preyed on the curiosity of brave souls, luring them into its winding paths, never to return. Their warnings sent a shiver down Lily's spine, but they did little to dampen her curiosity. If anything, they fueled the burning desire within her. The labyrinth was no longer just an ancient structure. It was a mystery waiting to be solved, a story waiting to be told. Its whispers were now a melody that she longed to understand, a song that held the promise of adventure. The sun set on Darnwell, casting long shadows that danced around the labyrinth. The whispers seemed to grow quieter as darkness engulfed the village, but for Lily, they were as clear as ever. They called out to her, teasing her with tales of a treasure hidden deep within the labyrinth's heart. As the moon cast its soft glow over her village, Lily made up her mind. She would venture into the labyrinth, seek the treasure that it promised, unravel its mysteries, and satiate her curiosity. Her heart pounded in her chest at the thought of the adventure that awaited her. The whispers had become a personal challenge, a test of her courage and her thirst for the unknown. She knew the journey wouldn't be easy. The stories of the village elders had painted a clear picture of the dangers that lurked within the stone walls. She had seen the worried looks on their faces, the concern in their eyes, but instead of deterring her, it added to the allure of the unknown. Each warning was a challenge, each tale of peril, a test of bravery, and Lily was ready to face them all. Lily laid awake in her bed, her mind teeming with thoughts of the labyrinth. She tossed and turned, the whispers echoing in her mind, pulling her into a restless slumber filled with visions of the labyrinth. In her dreams, she found herself standing before the towering labyrinth, its mossy stone walls seeming to touch the sky. She walked through its shadowy entrance, her heart pounding with exhilaration and fear. The labyrinth was a confusing network of winding paths and dead ends, the walls moving and shifting around her, whispering their ancient secrets. She saw glistening treasures hidden in shadowy corners, only to turn into dust when she reached for them. She heard eerie laughter echoing off the walls, the sound morphing into sinister whispers that sent a chill down her spine. The dreams shifted, turning darker and more ominous. She found herself running through the labyrinth, her breath coming in sharp gasps, a feeling of dread creeping into her heart. The walls seemed to close in around her, their whispers growing louder, more insistent, more menacing. Strange, shadowy figures lurked in the corners, their eyes glowing with an eerie light. The labyrinth seemed to come alive, its paths twisting and turning, leading her deeper into its heart. She woke up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding against her ribs. The remnants of the dreams clung to her like a cold mist, the whispers still echoing in her ears. The room was dark, the only sound the soft hooting of an owl from outside her window. Despite the fear and unease, Lily felt a strange sense of determination. The nightmares hadn't deterred her. They'd only fueled her resolve to face the labyrinth. She wanted to prove that she was brave enough, strong enough to uncover its secrets. She wanted to silence the whispers, to solve the labyrinth's enigma. Lying back on her pillow, Lily stared up at the ceiling, the shadows forming a dark labyrinth of their own. As she drifted back to sleep, she made her decision. Tomorrow, she would face the labyrinth. Tomorrow, she would answer the whispers that haunted her dreams. With that thought firmly in her mind, Lily slipped back into sleep, her dreams once again filled with winding paths and whispering walls, a prelude to the real adventure that awaited her with the dawn. This is the end of Chapter 1. Please stay tuned for more. If you like the story so far, please like and subscribe and consider leaving us a comment below. We would love to know your thoughts.